Happy Wednesday and welcome back to another edition of Bullies Soccer Bites. I'm here with Coach James Armstrong. It's going to get a little funky later. We're going to have assistant coach Brian Dunleavy join us, talk a little bit. But for now, James, we're going to do the usual recap and looking forward to next week. How you doing this morning, Coach?
Doing great, Chris. What about yourself?
Never better when I get a chance to chat with you, Coach.
Oh, so kind.
Hey, before we get into this week and talking to Coach Dunleavy, let's go back two Sundays ago now, when you guys played the University of Louisiana, a rather convincing 3-1 victory. Got to talk to you a little bit during the week. There are some things you liked, some things you wanted to work on, but give us a recap of what you thought.
Yeah, overall, it was a really good game for us. Louisiana, very good team, well coached. Played Alabama very close on the Friday night. So we knew coming in that they were going to be pose us a number of problems. So thought the team did really well at executing the game plan on both sides of the ball. It was great to get back out there and obviously play somebody other than ourselves after, a long break since November time. So that was the best part of it. We got to play every field player that was available to us. So that's always nice as well. We started off the game at a good tempo, good pace, good in possession, creating a number of chances, and we looked solid defensively. Over the course of the game, we had, 17 shots and 12 corners, which speaks for itself. But Louisiana, credit to them, they did a good job in defending, balls into the box, and, they did a good job as well of posing some threats on the counterattack. So, we went in at halftime 2-0 up. Oni Echegini, who's really coming into a game. She scored two great goals, two great team goals. I think there was 16 pass combination for the second goal. A lot of players involved, so that was pleasing. And we saw a lot of things in the attack that we'd worked on, throughout the spring. So that was great. And then second half, we started slow the second half on a number of occasions, and it's something that we're continuing to work on. And unfortunately, we gave up a goal on a set piece, but we responded really well and got a great goal ourselves, a few minutes later from our own attacking set piece. So from Ange Terrell. So overall, really happy with the start. Some things that we need to iron out before we play a very good Arkansas State team here on Saturday. Sorry.
Coach, now that we have Coach Dunleavy on later in the show, I know he's kind of the defensive coordinator of sorts for you guys. You got to be happy, right, in a match where you only give up 2 shots on goal. Maybe 1 shot on goal, 2 shots total the whole game. How is that able to happen?
Yeah, I mean, the team as a whole defensively did a good job in forcing them in areas that we wanted to force them. They understood the pockets of pressure that we wanted to try and capitalize on. There was good communication. They did a good job of reading service, keeping the ball in front of us. What we didn't do a good job of, though, was kind of our discipline in terms of reservice off set pieces. That's how they scored their goal. And they were really the main entries into our penalty box were from set pieces or reservices off it. So that's something that we'd worked on. And so that was a little disappointing. And I know the team felt disappointed in themselves from that standpoint. So it's something that we've addressed and something that we'll continue to address moving forward this spring.
Moving forward, we got a big match on Saturday against Arkansas State, a team that went 11-2-1 in the fall, team that's pretty confident. They came in first place in their conference in the regular season. They're going to play you once, they're going to play Arkansas twice, and I think they're going to play Ole Miss as well. So they're ready to play against SEC competition. What do we have to look forward to on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, a big, strong physical team, well coached. They've got some special players on both sides of the ball. Got a very good goalkeeper. They got a player up front that can play anywhere along the front line. Who got drafted into the pro leagues, but obviously continuing to play at this moment in time for them. She played last week. So they've got a lot of good players, good strength in depth, and like I said, they'll be well organized. So. They came runners up in the Sun Belt, lost to South Alabama in the final, only 2-1. So, they're going to come in and they're obviously looking to play some good competition throughout the course of the spring. So it'll be an exciting game for both teams.
Looking back real quick to One Echegini, coach, there were times last year, I don't want to say you were frustrated, but it took her a while to get going. She found her own when she got into SEC play. She came from overseas, your land. Like, was it a tough transition for her? And how do you think someone like her game has shown that you don't have to be a regional person in Mississippi or in the South, that you can come from the West Coast, you can come from a different country and be successful here at Mississippi State?
Yeah, I mean, Oni came in through no fault of her own. She got here late, so she didn't have the summer training before her freshman year. She came in August, right at preseason, and that's hard for anybody, right? But the Mississippi heat, was a little different than the heat that she had experienced in London. So it took her a little bit of time to get used to, the climate, but also the physicality of the American game. Freshman year, she started her first game against Auburn and never looked back, and last season took her a little bit of time to get going, but she is an unbelievable player, an incredible talent. And we actually talked to her just after the Arkansas State game, the Louisiana Lafayette game, and just told her how proud we are of her. I mean, she didn't go home at Christmas because she wanted to stay here in Starkville and continue to get fit and continue to work out in the weight room. And, just her dedication to get stronger, to get fitter, to get adjusted fully to the American game has been really an incredible achievement by her. And we're so proud of her, and there's so much to come. I think the key for us is finding out how we can transform how she takes over training on a daily basis, how she can take over games, on a weekly basis from that standpoint, So getting 2 goals in the first spring game was great for her, but she was disappointed not to get 3, which is the sign that, she's got that hunger. So overall, we're really proud of her, and she's a special talent for sure.
Coach, next match this Saturday at home at noon. It's my first call on the play-by-play. You got any advice for me? I usually do the color commentary, but I'm in the big seat by myself on an island.
Chris, you'll love it. You'll love it. We have full confidence that you'll do a great job as always.
Coach, we love hearing those British dulcet tones of yours, but now we're going to transition over to the Strong Island bravado of Coach Dunleavy. Coach Dunleavy, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well, Chris. Thanks for having me. This is exciting.
Coach, I usually got to talk with Coach Armstrong, but we decided we got to get the assistant coaches on here. We're going to set the bar high with you and then see if Coach Zimmerman can follow up. But, we already went over the review of last game. Look forward to this next match. But we kind of wanted to go behind the scenes. And for those who don't know, Coach Dunleavy handles some of the more unheralded stuff with the athletic, with the team, the scouting, the scheduling, and the academics. So first thing I want to talk about, scouting. What does scouting an opponent entail? When do you start to scout an opponent? How much time a week, do you go over the scout with the team, and just things of that nature?
So for us, the scouting report typically starts almost as soon as the last game that you played. You're already looking forward to your next opponent. What we try and do is we can watch the game live of our next opponent. We will. But we've got really good scouting software here that we can get the film of our opponents, sometimes already broken down a little bit for us. And we'll go through extensively as much as we can. For the spring this year, it's a little bit more of a challenge because we don't have a lot of material that we can go with from our opponents. So we'll go back to the fall. For upcoming opponent, Arkansas State, they made a really good run in the Sun Belt playoffs. So we went back and watched their last 3 games from the fall, and then their previous opponent this spring, Little Rock, as well. So we've got enough material that we want to try and get across the team, but the science of the scouting report and getting it to them in a concise manner as possible is taking all of that information, breaking it down, showing them videos and clips, highlighting their key players, their style of play, to get them as much information as they need without being too much information. So we'll break down every aspect of our opponent, from set pieces to what they do in transition, strengths, weaknesses, the key players, of course, to watch out for. But overall, what we try and do is 2 days before the game, We'll show them a full PowerPoint presentation with clips included of our opponent that takes probably about 20 minutes. That's really the good attention span that we try and go for. Anything longer than that might be too much. So we really try and narrow it down to get them the information that they need in order to feel prepared. So the mindset for us as a coaching staff when we go through the scouting reports is to give them the tools and resources they need to feel confident in their preparation. We also try and cater our training sessions throughout the week to highlight some of the things that they would see in the game coming up so they feel as prepared as possible as well. So it's multifaceted. The whole staff works on it. I have the pleasure of presenting it. It's one of the things that I really enjoy doing. But we watch a lot of film. During the fall, it's a lot because there's a lot of games going on, particularly when you're getting set for an SEC opponent. You've got a lot of things that you're looking for and a lot of things to watch. And what's nice about us playing in the SEC is I think the players watch a lot of the games on TV. Some of the games that you call, Chris, with that wonderful Rhode Island accent that you have, calling out the soccer games. But we go through a lot.
Hey, you've been in the game for a while as a head coach. You played at the highest level in our NCAA level. So my question is, you've seen a lot of scouts. You've done a lot of scouts. Has there ever been a time in your career when you've done a scout and you felt great about it, and then the other team comes out and the scout's nothing what you said to the team?
Unfortunately, that happens more than you want it to. I think that's one of the things that we also try and get across to the team is that it's not an exact science. The players have to adapt to the ever-changing things that are going on in a game. Sometimes a player could be out that you thought was going to be in. There are times where you set up to play against a 4-3-3 all week and they come out in a 3-5-2. And how do you adjust and how do you adapt? And we always highlight those things and everything that we do, that although coaches really feel like they have a total sense of control and they can really put their stamp on things, it's ultimately a player's game. And we approach that in our training sessions and our preparation for the game, that we're giving them everything they need. But ultimately it's their game to play and it's their time to step up and be leaders. And that's actually sometimes a really good thing. It's not ideal that you set up one way and it goes the other way, but you start to see your true colors and see the leadership on the field and how players adapt and adjust. And ultimately that's really good preparation for them. So that happens. You don't want it to, but I think one of our goals is to try and be a little bit different from game to game too. So hopefully you're imposing some differences in each approach to put your opponent off as well.
Speaking of things in a non-COVID year, you'd have a little more control over, at least, is scheduling, one of the next aspects of your job off the field. If you look back, some of the schedules that this team has had in the past, I know it's been some of the prior staffs, but it seemed there's a good variety of some regional opponents, maybe some receiving votes, some high RPI regional teams like a Memphis, a couple Power 5 opponents, and then somewhere even like a BYU, who it seemed that one year last year when you played BYU, Boston College, every player on it, each team had a player who was part of the Herman Trophy watch list. What really goes into, creating a balance of that schedule where, you want to get some wins before you go into the juggernaut that is the SEC, but also playing a team that has the power to almost match an SEC style of play?
Yeah, scheduling and you bring up COVID, and I think you're highlighting probably the hardest aspect of scheduling. I feel like we've scheduled probably, I'm just looking at my board, 10 games that we never even actually played. So you put a lot of work into it and it didn't come out because we went conference only. And then this spring was a little bit of a challenge because we were only one of 4 conferences that played. So that's why you see a few Sunbelt schools, because they played in the fall as well. But the overall mindset for us, I think you hit the nail on the head, is can you challenge your team enough? Can you put yourself in a position when your RPI is high enough to be in the mix for an NCAA at-large bid? staying above 500 before you get into conference play. So giving your team the challenge of playing really good opponents, but also giving them the opportunity to build some confidence, get some wins if you can. So there's a lot of things that go into it. RPI is definitely a factor. Regional opponents is also a factor. For us, we'll be going out of region to the Midwest next year. And then we'll have a lot of opponents that are typically in region coming here, with one really far out of region opponent from the West Coast coming here. So we try and have a blend, try and play new teams so it's not the same teams over and over again. And then you're always looking for opponents in non-conference that have gotten a good track record. For me, I think when we're looking at it, try and play teams that typically have at least 10 wins. That's always kind of the benchmark for somebody that's going to give you a good boost in your RPI, and give your team a challenge. You know, you're playing a good team. If they've got 10 wins, you know, year in, year out, and make a run in their conference playoffs. And if they make NCAA tournament runs, those are obviously big aspects of it as well. When you're playing in the SEC and it's week in and week out of a real grind, there's no easy opponents. You can't put your team in a position where you're playing Power 5 conference opponents and non-conference too. So what can you do in terms of getting your team prepared, giving them confidence, you know, polishing your NCAA at-large resume for the committee to look at? Those are all aspects of it that we really kind of look into very hard. But the other side of it is, you know, who's available, who wants to play, who's willing to come to Starkville, where can we go? And the better we get, and this is not to toot our own horn, the harder it is for us to schedule. You know, I think Mississippi State is on the rise in soccer, and people see that. So that could be attractive to an opponent, or that could be, it might be too good for us right now. So every year brings kind of a new challenge, but I enjoy that aspect of it. I've got a big board here with that goes all the way to fall 2023. So this goes out a couple of years as well. So you got to kind of project where an opponent's going to be as well.
So it seems like a lot of studying might go involved to kind of figuring out the perfect schedule or what you want to do. Speaking of studying, you also oversee the academic portion of the team. You know, we have Stephen Burkholder, I think, who's been with us a little over a year now. And how is Stephen acclimated to working with you, the staff, and our student athletes so far?
Steve's great. Great guy, wonderful to be around. The players really enjoy his company. But first and foremost, he's been one of the best, if not the best, academic advisor that I've had the pleasure of working with. He's on top of things. He knows the players' schedules inside and out, and he's a real asset for us. He's an extension of our coaching staff. We've got a wonderful athletic department here. It's one of the coolest things about working at Mississippi State is regardless of who you're working with, whether it be strength and conditioning, athletic training, you're getting amongst the best of the best in the country. And Steve is certainly an indication of that. And as we go through things and looking forward to new semesters and where we're at and incoming players, like he's always a step ahead. And that's a sign of somebody that's doing a really great job. So it's made my role here as the coaching staff, kind of the liaison to the academic support staff, a lot easier. And I really appreciate everything that he's done, but the players do. And that's the most important thing. But we're lucky here. Everybody over at Templeton is really on point. We're very fortunate as an athletic department to have such a really good academic support staff.
You mentioned the cohesiveness of our athletic department here in Starkville. Little birdie told me finally, you know, with the weather getting better, with COVID restrictions kind of loosening up a little bit, that you and the family have gone able to get out and enjoy some baseball games, some softball games, some tennis matches. How has that been? You know, you finally have a year where you can go out in the spring and support some other teams.
Yeah, so we're approaching the year anniversary of when everything shut down. I think that was March 11th last year, where, you know, the NCAA, I think, canceled everything for the rest of the year, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a long year. And for us as a family, we got here in the summer of August 2019. And we got the fall, we got some of the winter sports, and then everything was shut down. And now we're getting the opportunity to go out and see games. And that's one of the best aspects for me personally and for my family, to just kind of be a part of the Mississippi State Athletic Department fabric. And watching other teams compete is a huge benefit. It's one of those things that you look at as a perk. And what I really enjoy is getting the opportunity to see some of the other coaches, and regardless of the sport, do their thing. You know, you get to see them around the office and stuff, but seeing them on the field running practices, you get to learn things about how to approach practice sessions, how to prepare for games, how to conduct yourself in a competitive environment, and then ultimately rooting for the home team, which is the most fun thing about it all. And we're lucky here. I think one of the nicest things about our athletic department is we're competitive in any sport. So you can go out and watch anything, and you're watching high-level athletes compete. And that's the most fun about working in a Power 5 school like this.
You know, being down the hall for me, we were able to have some strong banter as fellow Northeasterners. I want to take up two hot takes that I've kind of gotten from you in our time being friends here at Mississippi State. First one, how is it being a New York Mets fan? You know, you're right outside the city, the best franchise, maybe all sport, of course, the New York Yankees, which I'm a fan of. It's so easy to win when you're a Yankees fan. How is it being a Mets fan in a world where the Yankees are your next door neighbor?
I will say this about being a Mets fan. If you're a Mets fan, you're really a fan of the team, because they give you absolutely nothing to be proud of most times. So if you are a fan of them, you are a true fan. But growing up on Long Island, going to Met games is one of my favorite memories of being a kid. And going with my dad and my brother to games was always special. But Mets fans have a different mentality. I think Yankees fans always celebrate their victories and wins and feel as though they've won something, which I would found interesting.
They're big Yankees fans, like to say we a lot, like they're the third hitter. And
yes, we won 27 World Series championships. But that's the cool thing about being in New York, is you have all the pro sports and everything like that, and that always adds a lot of fun and excitement. But being removed from that now and being part of the South and how passionate college fans are is really cool too. It's neat to see the rivalries, and when you see Ole Miss fans and Mississippi State fans interact, you kind of recognize what that's like with the Mets and the Yankees. And but being a Mets fan, I'll tell you what, this could be a year. I'll say it now.
You hit the nail on the head when you said it's almost like you have to come down here to see it. Some of the rivalries are just as crazy, if not crazier, than the ones on a professional level. The one more thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if you totally said this, so tell me if I put words in your mouth. I don't want to get you in trouble back home either. You said that did you say you preferred Chicago deep dish pizza to the New York style flop? No,
that is false.
That's how I'm gonna have to edit it out.
I would always say this. Okay, New York obviously is the best city in the country, possibly the world. So you just take that out of the equation. Chicago is one of my favorite places to go. And in terms of pizza, there is nothing that compares to New York pizza. Chicago deep dish is acceptable. If you live there and that's what you had to eat, I think you'd be fine. But I think we all know where the true winner lies there.
So with that being said, what's a food that now you kind of lived? I mean, you actually lived in Georgia for 6 or 7 years. That it was, and you're over here now. What is the best food that you can get in the South that we don't really have access to back home?
I would probably say barbecue is the best. You don't really have the level of barbecue in New York, whether it be the type of wood that they use or I don't know what, some type of secret ingredient. They say New York, the bagels, you can't replicate anywhere else because you have to have the New York water. Mm-hmm. And I think if you're talking about barbecue in the South, you can't replicate it anywhere else because you need to have that smoked wood to make it special. But the barbecue here is probably the best aspect of it. One of the things I do love about the South, though, is that no matter where you are or what's going on, somebody's always barbecuing something.
Always. You see smoke coming from somewhere back home, you think it's
Everywhere.
fire. Here's up. Someone's
Exactly.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time this morning. Looking forward to seeing you get out and compete on Saturday. Any final words?
No, thanks for having me. This is a cool little treat for me. Get to talk about the things that I do on a daily basis. So thanks for highlighting all the wonderful aspects of our program, Chris. And thanks for everything you do. Good luck on Saturday on your call. We're rooting for you, and we're looking forward to Saturday. So thank you again.
If I do a good job, Chris Nasuti was the play-by-play person. If it's a bad job, Ryan Dunleavy was the play-by-play person. Don't ever forget. Thank you, Coach. Hail State.
Yeah, Hail State. Thank you.